Welcome to Buckets. My name is Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network, coming to you live from our Tommy John's home studios. I'm joined by J Money. You can find him on Twitter and on his YouTube channel at JMoneyIsMoney. This is your Tuesday Best Bets episode in the association. We'll break down all of the plays for Tuesday, give you the best ways to bet it, and we'll cover every single angle that you need to know for the association on Tuesday. Want to let you know that everything we talk about can be found at youtube.com/The Action Network. You want to go there and subscribe, sign up, join our live shows. Lots of great content coming to you every day. As well as you want to check out the Action Network app. It's the best way for you to track your picks. With a pro subscription, you get all sorts of cool insights into where the money's coming in, bet sharp moves, all those types of things. Plus, you can get instant alerts on things like Sean Kerner's props and Brandon Anderson's future bets. All sorts of great stuff in the Action Network app. Jay, before we get to best bets this evening, we're a week in as of Tuesday into the NBA season. And so I want to ask you, what's the best bet you think you've made in the first week of the season?
The best bet, I would say, was the first day of the season. Both of them, best and worst, both came on the first day of the season. I did take the Lakers plus 1.5 versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. I feel like that was a good spot. I didn't know that the Lakers would start off 3-0 and smacking everybody up, but they've looked good over there. JJ Redick looks like he's really done his homework. It looks like he's really, which he is, surrounded by some other veteran head coaches as well. But he has these Lakers ready to play every single game. I remember everyone being on the Wolves that game, and I was kind of like the only person out of everyone that I talked to was liking the Lakers, and they came and got the job done rather easily as well. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was probably my, especially for it being the first day of the season, I feel like that was my best bet so far for the first week of the NBA season.
Not a bad one. I was oppo on that one. I went real small on the Wolves. They had a great opening night. That was the one loss that I had. If I'd known them that JJ Redick was going to have this kind of impact, definitely would have stayed away. It's also interesting because the Wolves have been good since. They're bombing from three. They're playing great basketball. We'll talk about them a little bit later on. But it was just the Lakers definitely caught him on opening night, and it bucked a lot of trends that I'd seen with the Western Conference teams on these home openers, especially as a dog. They haven't done well. So good spot by you there. What was your worst bet, you think?
My worst bet was taking the Knicks. This is something that I had bet. Obviously, the lines for the first day of the season were out for 2 months, and I was just all on the Knicks. Now, I can say, to my credit, I did initially like them before the Karl-Anthony Towns trade. I wanted the same continuity. I wanted that same team from last year. Nothing new to get used to, no new energies in the locker room, none of that. And that did not work out as well. But I think it's for a larger picture of that. It was mainly betting against the Celtics. The Celtics, this is not a team that, they can't go 82-0 straight up or against the spread, but this is not a team that you should feel comfortable betting against. Anything could happen. They could be down 10 points, and then they just hit you with a wave of threes, man, in defense, and the team is never out of a game. They're never out of an ATS cover. They're never out of winning by double digits, literally. So I would go out on a limb and say that betting against is not even necessarily betting on the Knicks, but betting against the Boston Celtics was the worst decision I've made so far this year.
My best would be I bet on the Thunder in the Nuggets opener. Kind of realizing that the Nuggets were very much up against it, and it was a home spot, and it was a very good, based off of preseason lines, team that I didn't think the market was adjusted to how Denver had kind of looked, and the changes that they've made was giving them too much credit, especially home court in the open situation, and OKC is really primed in that spot, so got that one. My worst bet is pretty much anything I bet tonight as we record this on Monday night. Pretty much all those were just absolute trash. So pretty much every bet I made on Monday night qualifies there. I went in the over, gave that out last night on Buckets, talking about Rockets and Spurs, and that one was just like a slog fest. I continue to do the thing I say that I don't want to do, which is catch a falling knife, where it's like, oh, this has been surely this will regress in this game. Wait for it to regress and then bet it. I know better than that. Wait for offenses to regress and then bet on them. Don't try and get ahead of it before you get there. Want to let you know, we mentioned at the top of the show that we're coming to you from our Tommy John home studios, and that's because great games start with great underwear, and Tommy John makes the greatest. There's this camo jammy pants that are just absolutely incredible. They're the most phenomenal sleepwear I have had. The white t-shirt that they sent me is just the most comfortable t-shirt. I never want to take it off. Obviously the underwear, dynamite. Your partner will absolutely appreciate how you look and feel in that gear. It's absolutely phenomenal. Remember, when you're comfortable, you can do everything better, and that includes betting. So if you love the Buckets podcast, and if you love this crew, you'll love Tommy John's. Get 25% off on your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/buckets. Save 25% at TommyJohn.com/buckets. All right, Jay, quick episode tonight. Let's go ahead and get some best bets rolling out there. What are your best bets for the Tuesday slate?
Give me the Minnesota Timberwolves -4.5.
All right, you want the Wolves. I am going to take 2 unders on this slate because my numbers project them, and I like the spot as well. Have done well on unders in general. Overs were really hot for the first 6 days of the season. I think we're starting to see defenses settle in a little bit after that early rush. I'm taking Dallas, Minnesota under 225. That's 224 in the market. You still good there. I'm still good at anything above 220. And I'm taking the under in Pelicans Warriors 217.5. All right, Jay, Minnesota versus Dallas. Dallas on a second night of a back-to-back. Wolves, I know the words that you're going to say. I know I can hear them echoing from the future. This is a revenge spot. Am I right?
Yeah, those are not the words that I'm looking at, though. This is I don't like the spot for the Mavs. They've had to they haven't played a game like two home or 2 away yet, so they're basically traveling after every single game. This is, I mean, it's early in the season, right? But it's still back to back, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights for the Mavs. Obviously, you will have a Wolves team here that is pretty pissed off. They did lose in the playoffs last year 4-1. I mean, they got down 0-3 in that series as well. And I know a couple of those games are really close. They possibly could have won, but let's be honest. They had won their championship series versus the Nuggets. After that, they were kind of just done there. So I do feel like this is a new season. This is a new team for the Wolves. This is a type of spot that you get everyone collectively looking to bounce back after and get that sour taste out of your mouth from the playoffs last year. That means the coaching staff. That means the players. That means the towel boys, the water boys. Everybody wants a little bit of revenge here versus the Dallas Mavs. And we know that Luka didn't play any preseason. We saw him have a really bad shooting night tonight. I expect him to have an even worse shooting night on this Tuesday versus the Wolves as well. The Wolves will make sure that Luka Doncic is not beating them. My best bet was going to be Luka's under points, but we don't have any props out yet. I do like that one. I do think the Wolves come out here out for blood. Literally, like the Maverick is like a horse, and the Wolf, they're going to be trying to go and eat their ass here for sure. They're going to be trying to eat them up here from start to finish. So I like the Wolves here really early and often, to be honest with you. I think the defense is going to be all over these guys. Still have Gobert down there. You have a big that can contest with Gafford and Lively as well coming off the bench. Naz Reid able to stretch the floor. Hopefully Randall will continue to look well and getting integrated into the offense. I believe he had 33 points last time. And we know Anthony Edwards is going to be ready for this game for sure. They got absolutely dog walked last year in that playoff series. I expect the Wolves come out here very hungry. I am howling with the Wolves here. This is my top spot of the day for Tuesday. I like the Wolves here to win really by double digits.
Okay. All right. So it's kind of a smash spot there. Do you like first quarter, first half?
I do. I'm looking at first quarter. I haven't done all my research on it. I hadn't really been looking at the first quarter as much, but this is one really where full game, you want the fatigue to finally set in. I know the game ended around 10 o'clock Mavs time. Then they have to do all the post game interviews, have to fly up to Minnesota as well. They shouldn't get up there until about 2 o'clock in the morning, get to their hotel until about 2 o'clock in the morning. So with this being back to back, third game in 4 nights, 4th and 6 with the travel involved as well, and you add in the playoff revenge. This is a spot that I'll take the Wolves comfortably.
All right. I like the under in this spot based off of the fact that the Wolves are shooting more threes, and that's problematic for this over. They're just bombing from 3. They are the second highest volume 3-point team behind Boston right now. And that's difficult, but Dallas has kind of proven that they're right back to playing that physical, grimy style defense. They just play an extremely physical style. And I think it's having a little bit of a toll on their offensive production. They only put up 110 versus the Jazz in what I thought was going to be an absolute dynamite, just blow them out of the water 120 plus game. I bet the over in that game, and I bet them. I bet they're over with the Jazz under on a same game parlay for a little taste, and that missed. So I think the Dallas is still probably in a place where even on the back to back, I expect their defense to be really good. And if it's not, That's probably because Minnesota is absolutely routing them like Jay thinks. And if Minnesota is routing them, when Minnesota routes you, they will hold you under 100 a lot of the time. Like, I'm not expecting this to be a shootout where Minnesota puts up 142, 130, and Dallas puts up 105. Like, I like Minnesota as well in the spot. I just can't get there on the number. So I will go ahead and I'll take the under here with an expectation that either this is a slog and a really tight game late in the low 100s, or this is a Wolves dominant win behind a dominant defensive performance for a team on the second night of a back-to-back. I'll play that one. Warriors Pelicans is pretty simple. No Steph, no DeJounte Murray. Pelicans offense is has been way behind the curve. Their defense has actually been pretty solid. This to me, like if you look at where these two teams are at, it's a pretty natural under here. Golden State plays a little fast, but I'm not really worried about it. I don't think either of these teams are going to be able to score. Without Steph Curry on the floor this season, the Warriors offense is 20 points worse per 100 possessions. 20 points worse. Now, that changes when other guys get into the starting unit, but guess what? DeAnthony Melton is also out in this game, and it takes out a defender, but it also takes out a three-point shooter. So yes, Buddy Hield may have a huge game here and shoot a bunch of threes, but I don't love him as like a primary initiator. Like, he's not Malik Monk. He's not that type of guy. Somebody's going to have to set him up. And I don't know they have enough creation on that team, especially if Draymond's not on the floor, to be able to create enough offense. So I'll take the under here on Pelicans Warriors in a banged up, injury laden spot. Jay is on the Wolves at any number. I am on the under, and I'm on Pels Warriors. That's going to do it for buckets. Thanks so much for joining us. I really love doing this podcast. It's such a great podcast to do. But thanks to David Payne. He's been such a great producer for us, as well as Tito Bonach and the video crew over at youtube.com/The Action Network. Thanks, everybody, for hitting like and subscribe on the YouTube page, as well as giving us a 5-star review. We'll see you guys again next time. Till then, let's get buckets.